Today, I'm partnering with my friend Kanad to do a UX review of some mobile app designs. So, Kanad is also a great person to learn from because he's the co founder and chief product officer of a very successful startup called Potion. So, as you hear us give our review of these designs, I think you're going to be able to get a lot out of it because the feedback that we're giving doesn't just apply to this app, but it would apply to many different kinds of designs out there. So hopefully you're able to get some good pieces of information out of this and carry it into your own work. So I'll start to get into this whole review now so you can hear what we have to say about these designs.
Yeah. Hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? I'm Kanad, and I'm here with Kyle, who is a good friend and a senior UX designer. And today we're going to do a quick UX teardown of this investment app called Seeded. It's built by Moo. That's M-O-O-O-O-O, like five O's. You can check them out on Behance if you search for Moo. Cool. So let's go for it. All right. As soon as you open the app, you see this splash screen. It tells you what the app is going to be about, although the text is lorem ipsum. Looks pretty clean. There's only one place to click on, so nothing too fancy here. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, overall looks pretty good in my opinion. I would say a few pieces of feedback I would have here are one, like the body copy under the seed it text is pretty hard to read.
Yeah.
I don't think that would pass any like accessibility standards. So they have a transparent background with the white text over it. I think darkening that background would make that a little bit easier to read there.
Yep.
The other thing is, I think this is a financial app, and this is pretty generic image. So I don't know if it would kind of help to tell the story of this app as someone's going through this onboarding process, which I think with image choices, that's probably a pretty good idea.
Yes, I agree with you. Like the image makes me feel like this is a like a social media type application as opposed to a financial investment type application. Although even if they're targeting young professionals or younger people, it still doesn't send this right message. If I was to make a few changes here, the seeded actually comes after the image. I believe the order should be the other way around because you want the brand name to be recognized before you actually associate it with with the imagery. So I would probably flip the order of these two. The font on the brand name as well as the text is different, so it's almost it's kind of sending mixed messages to me. So I use consistent font. If you're just going with a logo that is just font, just use the same font. And lastly, I don't know if you noticed this, but the border radius, I believe the guy is using, or the person is using, same border radius for the tile that is on the bezel of the phone. So you want to reduce this a little bit so the lines on the border become parallel so it feels a little bit more smooth. And lastly, this needs to be a CTA such as next or proceed or something like that, as opposed to just an arrow. Did you find anything else in here?
Not really.
Cool. So to summarize this,
we move on to the
for
next.
splash screens, splash screens, always use consistent fonts. Make sure the text is readable, passes accessibility standards, and make sure that it fits nicely with border radius and other stuff. Make sure you use consistent imagery on your splash screen. So those are the 4 takeaways from this splash screen layout, if you will. Let's move on to the next screen.
Right.
Cool. So again, similar screen, very similar treatment everywhere else. So Seeded Invest. Now I feel like the name of the app is Invest, as opposed to I believe the guidance is Invest as a CTA as opposed to the name of the brand. Same treatment on the imagery as well. It feels like a dance app now as opposed to an investment app.
Yep, completely agree with all of that. And so yeah, I think all the other feedback would be the same on the screen.
There are a couple other things that I noticed here. I'm assuming there's another one just like this. There you go. um, a couple things I noticed here is this thing makes me feel like it's a hamburger menu as opposed to a carousel progress bar. So I almost clicked on this to see if there are like options underneath this menu.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that treatment needs to be changed as well. Maybe move these right above this or right underneath the CTA button to show that this is actually a carousel, not just a splash screen, as opposed to putting in
Oh,
the menu.
I was actually confused what that was because on the first screen, I think the colored dot
Yeah.
was not in the first position there.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand if that was like part of the whole thing or what.
Yeah. On the first screen, I thought this was a menu that you could click on or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
kind of-
So yeah, that should definitely be closer to where you're navigating through this whole onboarding.
Yeah. So onboarding, big tip for onboarding, make sure that if it's a carousel style, combine that with where your CTA is or where the actual sliding happens, as opposed to detaching that UI element outside of the carousel. So your visual representation is actually consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. I also noticed there's no way to go back to the screen before.
Oh yeah. I guess maybe you like click on one of these like tiny ones. You could go back, but it doesn't look like there's a back button here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool. So I think we've squeezed enough juice out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to the next screen. Okay, so there's a lot of very similar type paging going on here. I'm assuming this is a video tutorial. Okay, interesting. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I am pretty confused why that arrow goes down now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to communicate that it's going to like open up a tutorial from below or have it come in somehow. But then there's the play button also. So I'm not really understanding what's going on here.
Yeah.
Or maybe the down is to communicate that we're going into the app, but I don't know why that direction needed to change there.
Yeah, it kind of strange. Maybe the nature of the scrolling changes from horizontal carousel style to vertical scroll. Maybe that's what's indicated here. But
Mhm.
again, the overarching theme is that if you look at all the screens, you can see that he's using or they are using the same layout for multiple things. So this is almost a splash screen type treatment, which where brand name is it's brand name forward. Then the rest of them is the abilities of the app with the same layout. And the last one is a tutorial, which is a different thing than the previously mentioned two. So using the same layout to communicate multiple things is never a good idea. If they wanted to show different aspects of the application, they should be using different UI treatments so that the viewer or the audience or the user of the app actually gets the right message and is not confused with, I don't know if I'm on the carousel now. I don't know if I'm on the splash page now. I have no idea where I am right now.
Yep, completely agree with all of that. Like if they were going to put the logo in, that probably should have been a separate thing before getting into this little onboarding experience here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Cool. You want to explore what's next?
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's click on this arrow thing. It takes us to this login. Again, this needs to, if it's, this needs to be a clear CTA. It has to be like login, sign up, or what have you.
Yeah.
And then going to the login screen. Because of the email and password is pre-populated.
Mm-hmm.
Gmail and Facebook authentication is a secondary thing. Okay, so there are a few things to unpack here. From the copy side, welcome back implies that all the people are previous users. There are no new users. So just having just this welcome as UX copy would definitely deliver better impact. You don't need lorem ipsum or any text here. People know what login screen is, so you can remove this from the layout. I would personally prefer Google and Facebook or Apple login as the main options or the first options. Typically, most people are used to using G Suite authentication as opposed to typing the email and password on a mobile screen. So having these as in the forefront would do probably more justice to this UI than not.
Yeah.
Do you have any feedback for him?
Yeah, completely agree. And I don't think you can just put a Google icon and a Facebook icon and just expect that communicates everything right there. Yeah, there needs to be some copy there explaining it. And I think just using the set sign in with Google button that most apps use is completely fine. There's no need to reinvent the wheel on there.
Yeah.
And then also, since this is a welcome back screen, I was thinking it's fine to have like a welcome back screen if someone's a returning user, but you wouldn't have a whole onboarding experience before
Correct.
welcome back screen.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So that again, like a mixed message or a confusing message being sent here. I'm going through onboarding, but you're assuming that I'm an existing user. Kind of a strange message. If you're putting somebody through onboarding, make sure the sign up page is the primary CTA for authentication. Cool. Do you want to summarize this quickly?
Yeah. So probably the most important things here are just using the Google and Facebook authentication as like the primary methods of signing in before the email address and password. And then having a different login screen that you would see depending on whether it's welcome back or just like the first time welcoming the user. And that would change based on if they're seeing that onboarding experience or not.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Let's see what happens when you click on enter now. Okay, so I have a handful of things happening here. Verify account, new to see it, learn more, my funds. Okay, my goals. Okay, interesting. Kind of a strange. I'm getting a strange feeling from this. So it looks like this app can do many things. It can set financial goals for you, or investment goals, I guess, and it can also show you a list of quote unquote investments or funds that you have. Not sure what that means just yet, but we can explore that in a minute. Verify account. Let's just go through this one flow for now. Okay, verify account. It takes your information. Occupation, employer. Okay, save and exist. Okay, interesting. So this is an interesting. Okay, so residential ad. Let's start with like simple. Residential ad is text box. If you look at annual income, it says Caitlin. There should be a number.
Yeah.
Source of income, add your income. Again, so it looks, the UI treatment on the text box is slightly vague and confusing, actually. If this is supposed to be a placeholder text, then it needs to have the same color as this label. Right now, it looks like add your income is the content of this text box.
Right.
Which is strange. Same with occupation, employer, mother's maiden name. There's a slight, I don't know if it's visible or not, but I think the color on T. Lathori is different than this. So this is clearly an input in this text box. But it is slightly more muted than the placeholder text. Which is also strange.
That was probably just a small mess up.
Yes. Looks like it. So the big takeaway here, if you're designing text box style UI elements, you need three different color styles. One is your placeholder text, which is a muted text. Your label text, which is what this is, which is also muted, but may not necessarily be as muted as a placeholder text. And you have an active text, which is text color, which is when somebody's typing in, or if the input value is valid, it shows the input value. So having those visual treatments for the color of text would actually drive a less confusing message for these text boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agree with all of that. The feedback I would hear has more to do with kind of the general flow of this
Yeah.
app. Like at this point in the whole user journey, I'm assuming that this person doesn't have investment set up and like all of the important things in the app. Yet, when you arrive at it at that homepage, the primary CTA there is to verify your account. That's not like communicating any sort of value for this app, and it's not really an enticing thing for a user to click on. So I think if someone doesn't have all this stuff set up, we should be trying to get them to like start investing or start some fund or whatever the primary reasons for using this app are.
Yeah,
And maybe if verifying the account is necessary, then once they have like that stuff set up, then maybe they go into the verify the account flow.
Yes, yes. Speaking strictly from a UX perspective, I completely agree with you. Most of the things in this app, like the user goals that it needs to set, is why you need to use this app. So that is very unclear. I agree with you. Like in the flow, on the user is clearly not onboarded yet. So first thing they should see is, okay, set up your investment goals, list them down, then connect your what are like accounts that are required, and then finally verify account. So that needs to be a step-by-step flow, as opposed to just giving verify account as your first thing to do when the user has not done anything or has not basically drawn any value from the application.
Right. And I just kind of have like a related tangent here.
Yeah.
With mobile apps, the vast majority of the time when a user downloads a mobile app, they open it once, check it out a little bit, and then never come back to that app again. Yep. I forgot what the exact stats are, but it's the vast majority.
Yes,
so with mobile apps, it's kind of a race against time to communicate some great value to this user. Get them using it, get them in the whole process, go through some of the main like primary CTAs that would get someone to keep coming back. So just kind of generally speaking about mobile apps, like that's kind of the strategy that we normally need to be going for.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. People are extremely, if they don't like an app experience, they're going to drop it immediately, especially during onboarding for heavy things like creating an investment portfolio, what have you. Right. So if that is not nailed down to the T, it's I'm pretty sure users are going to get frustrated immediately and just uninstall the app or just never look at it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because especially like in the investment space, it's insanely competitive.
I agree with you. Yeah, 100%.
Mobile desktop apps, so there needs to be something that stands out massively.
Yes. Okay, I feel like we've done a lot of roasting and bashing of this thing. Do you want to conclude this teardown, or do you want to dig more?
How about we dig into one more thing and then conclude it from there?
You got it. Which one do you want to explore? We have options: settings, this people thing, this investment thing, or this dollar thing.
Is there? Okay, how about like looking into the wallet and see how that works?
There we go. Okay, so cool. So there seems to be many features in this that are almost buried. There's this wallet thing at the bottom left. Let's see what the wallet means. Okay, so I have 4 wallets. There is one primary that has a number. There's a Bank of Africa, Ghana, GCB Bank. Okay, so one bank is one wallet, I guess, and then you can add more wallets. Do you have any feedback on this wallet screen?
I don't know. It just seems a little strange to label these as wallets when it's just like a connection to a bank account.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused with that whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. Same. Not quite sure why are they calling an account a wallet.
Mhm,
Um, but we can, yeah. Let's move forward and see if we can add another account or wallet.
mhm.
Maybe that might shed some light on why they're calling it a wallet.
Right.
Uh, okay. So we have a name. It's okay. Something happened here when I click on this. Um, okay, I'm really confused actually. So this is wallet, and if I click on this drop down, it opens a pop-up modal. This is MTN, Vodafone, bank name, bank name. I'm really confused. I don't know what it means. Option to enable withdrawals and make this a primary. Okay. Um, do you know what's going on over here?
Um, I'm not really sure, and I don't really understand like what happens like after you create a wallet and why you need to do that
Yeah.
exactly. Because I would think like if you're connecting a bank account or something, that would normally just be to like bring funds into the account to invest in something.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
This.
no, maybe this would just make a little bit more sense with like some copy changes and some more communication about exactly like what's going on here.
Yeah. Fair enough. Um, I believe this wallet drop down is where you select one of these, I guess. So right now he has selected MTN, but you can select any of these options. And
Mhm.
then it somehow automatically knows how to connect your, I don't know, Airtel Tigo account as a wallet. Um,
So I would assume that those are accounts that were already connected, maybe in other wallets. But then
oh,
I don't get why you'd be connecting that to another wallet and like why this would function differently
yeah,
than the other wallet that already has that account connected to it.
yes, yeah. Very tricky UI.
Mm,
And when you click on create, cool, wallet created. God, it's a simple flow for creation, but I just don't know where he's getting all the information in the
mhm.
first place when you click on uh, these uh, these options. Maybe the accounts are previously connected, but it's definitely unclear.
Right,
Um,
right.
cool. Do you have any like summary feedback type thing? A one point or one sentence summary on how we can improve um,
Hmm.
on the screen?
I would say communication with the user
Hmm.
is very important through CTAs, copy on the screen, why you need to do things. Uh,
Yeah.
all of that's extremely important for an overall user experience.
Yes. I feel you. Yeah, just adding a couple things to that point. Communication on why you do things is extremely important here, especially because you're dealing with money. And if the flow is even slightly confusing, you don't build that trust with your user, uh,
Hmm.
with the money that they are entrusting you with.
Right.
So definitely making sure why you are putting them through a certain flow, either through UX copy or through callouts or whichever methods you want to use on the UI.
Hmm.
It, it's definitely unclear here, and that might be the biggest culprit in the whole experience for this wallets feature
Right.
in this application.
That's a really good point. Like, especially when someone's connecting a bank account, that's a
Yeah.
really big deal.
um, okay, cool. Let me go back to stream here. Cool. Let's conclude this teardown because I feel like we can go really deep on the rest of the features. Uh,
Mhm.
but this app in general needs a lot of work. Needs a lot of thinking through on um, almost all the aspects of and features of this application.
Mhm.
All in all, good effort, but doesn't cut the cheese. Is that a saying? I don't know. uh, does uh, no, that's not a saying. I'm pretty sure it's not a saying. Doesn't the mustard? I guess.
Well, close enough. We all know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you mean.
Don't want to cut the cheese. Cool. Any last words, Kyle?
um, yeah, just that I think the app has some good potential, but I think if some of those big things that we mentioned are changed, I think that would really help just with the app overall and with user retention and just having people kind of generally be less confused in the whole flow.
Agreed. +1 to that. All right. On that note, let's conclude this teardown.
All right. Cool.